Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Political Ray. It's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning. Hope everybody has a fantastic day. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're new here, just hit that follow button. I'm live every morning, 7:30 Eastern, right ahead, just ahead of the Rumble lineup. So appreciate everybody being here. We've got some stories. We got a follow up with New Jersey in Newark with the ICE facility. There's been some more protesters, minus the Congress people this time, just regular old people blocking first response vehicles, a van that had possible illegal alien criminals within that van. Arrests were made. Maybe a little too late in my opinion, but we'll get into that. Stocks are up, as I said yesterday in my video. That look, with the trade deal being finalized with China, we'll get into the details a little bit about that today. But stocks soared yesterday, as I said they probably would. That tends to happen when these kinds of things take place. But we've got some pharmaceutical news with price of medications coming down as the Trump administration has done this, and we've got, Democrats are probably going to lose their mind over this because just the fact that they've been promising this for years, decades at this point, that the price of meds need to come down for American citizens. All the talk about it, nobody's ever done anything actually, just except for talking about it. President Trump actually gets it done. We'll get into that. But as I said before, appreciate you being here. It is Tuesday morning. Hope everybody had a good Monday. I know Mondays suck, but the day is what you make of it. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get into all of this, and we'll start with the stocks here. Okay. Let me shrink myself down here now. Yesterday, as I said, the trade deal did get finalized. The details came out on the trade deal with China. Now the trade from China's products coming into the U.S. have been tariffed at 10%. Okay, everything from the U.S. going into China, the tariffs on them are 30%. It's a good deal for the United States. If you think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. But this is good for the United States. Now we've got the stocks. Look at how much has gone up. 1,000 points, 173 points. NASDAQ 793 points. Huge uptick with the stock market. And this is kind of what the stock market does. It goes up and down, what have you. I don't do a whole lot into the stock market. I do have some stocks, but not a whole lot. I just buy what I think is going to go up. Usually I'm wrong because I don't play the stock market a whole lot. But anyway, I do have some stocks, but I'm usually wrong on stuff. So don't take my advice as far as financial advice. Anyway, we got that. Let me see. We got Now the China. Now this is due to the China tariffs. Now the deal was struck yesterday, as I said in my video. China. Let me get it back up here because I thought I had it, but I guess I don't. China trade deal. Okay. Let it think. There we go. All right. So we got now the China trade deal comes on the heels of the UK trade deal. So we've got that plus the China trade deal. There's the winning for this administration. The wins just keep coming. There are some bad things that I've criticized Trump for, namely TikTok. The jet that he's getting from Qatar, I think, is stupid. Shouldn't happen. There's some other things that I've talked about that he shouldn't be doing. But anyway, Trump's trade negotiations have announced that they have reached an agreement with China addressed. We already know all that. Dang, I guess I wanted to talk a little bit more about it, but pretty much just the basic breakdown of it. Trump got it to where we're paying 10% on tariffs. China's paying 30% on imports coming into China. That's a good thing. But anyway, I digress. And I'll just go ahead and we'll move on to the next thing here. Now, Newark, New Jersey. This is the one that I wanted to talk about anyway. In New Jersey, let me just show you the video. These protesters in Newark. Now, this is what happens when you have the Democrat politicians, Congress people, what have you. AOC made her 2 cents known. These people who break the law namely the mayor, who was told that he was going to be charged with trespassing and arrested if he didn't vacate the premises. Decided to stay there anyway, got arrested. Then you've got the Congress people, namely that LaMonica person, who assaulted ICE officers. You can say what you want, it was an assault. I don't care if she was just shoving the person. She used her elbow. She physically used physical force. That's assault on an ICE official. She should be held accountable. Everybody who watches me knows that accountability is one of my huge, huge things. It should be a thing. Because until these people are held accountable, they're going to keep doing this crap because they know they can get away with it. Now, I know there's certain rules and regulations as far as arresting a sitting member of Congress, blah, 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 blah. Look, if they break the law, I don't care. I don't care. They break the law, they should be arrested. Accountability. But anyway, take a look at this clip. This is wild. But again, this is what happens when you have the Democrats going out there and not facing any kind of consequences. You've got everyday people thinking that they can go in there and do whatever they want as well. This is what happens. Cause and effect. Take a look.
The Trump administration is warning there could be more arrests after 3 House Democrats attempted to push through ICE agents and enter a New Jersey immigration.
There should be more arrests. There should be more arrests. I'm just saying. This isn't the one I wanted to show first. Let me show you this one. Now this is what I wanted to see, everybody to see. This is a van. Okay, we don't know who's in this van. More than likely, it's probably illegal aliens, probably criminals who committed further crimes after entering the country illegally, which in and itself is a crime. Don't let the Democrats fool you when they say it's not a crime to enter this country illegally. It's in the name. Illegally entering the country. That is a crime under U.S. statutes, U.S. law, what have you. It's a crime. That's their number one crime. Many of these people commit further crimes once they're inside the United States. A lot of the times because they're not documented as being here. So it's kind of like looking for a ghost. It's difficult, and I give props to law enforcement when they actually do find these people. So who knows who's in this van? But they're going to block this van from entering this facility. They're blocking the main gate into this facility. But again, this is what happens when you have Democrats protesting out there trying to do their thing, grandstanding, and they don't have any consequences. This is what happens. Everyday Americans are empowered and emboldened to go out and do this kind of crap. Arrests were made, and rightfully so. But in my opinion, it came way, way too late. As soon as these people showed up and started protesting, once they blocked and were not allowing vehicles to look, there was an ambulance that was blocked and couldn't get into the facility. Who knows what they needed the ambulance for? We don't know. But these people should be arrested. They should have been arrested at that point. As soon as they impeded operations of ICE officials, they should have been arrested. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, you let me know what you think, but I think the arrest came way too late. They let them sit there for way too long before they actually did something. I don't know. Maybe they were waiting on the authority to arrest these people. I don't know. Should have happened a lot sooner, in my opinion. But you let me know. Check this out. She's holding up a sign that says love. She's blowing kisses. Again, we don't know who's in that van. Is this person blowing kisses to rapists, murderers? We know it's probably illegal aliens at the very least. Anyway. Look, they're blocking the entry gate. And they're clapping. They're applauding themselves. Yay. Let's keep murderers and rapists and gang members within the United States to walk among our children and everything else. This is disgusting. If you are somebody who advocates for keeping criminals inside the United States, you're not a good person. Either that or you're just seriously misinformed. I don't care. Look, people have a right to be here. No, they don't. They have the right. They can come. I have no problem with immigration. Come here legally. Do it the right way. I know it sucks. I know the waiting time is forever long. But what do you think happens when all these illegal people come into the country? It makes that wait that much longer. You realize every time one illegal alien comes into this country, they take the spot of somebody who's actually waiting and doing it the right way. It's not fair to them, the people who are actually trying to obey the law and come into this country legally. It's not fair to them every time someone comes into this country illegally. You let me know what you think about it. It's not right. But excuse me. They did a little song and a little chant here. Again, this is when you embolden everyday people, this kind of crap is going to happen. When you don't have consequences for the politicians who pull this crap, it monkey see, monkey do. It's what I tell my teenage kids about my little one. Look, she looks up to you. She's monkey see, monkey do. What do you think is going to happen when these politicians don't face consequences? This kind of crap happens. This is a day. Well, 2 days. Because I think it was Saturday or Sunday that the politicians were there. But anyway, regardless. Accountability. Anyway, take a look at this clip. This is just insane to me.
Fascism's got to go. Got to go. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. Fascism's got to go.
We say no to fascism. Fascism's got to go. Please, somebody, this is an honest question. Somebody please explain to me how rounding up like illegal immigrants, people who are in this country illegally, please tell me how sending these people back home, tell me how that's fascism. Somebody explain it to me, because I guess I'm just ignorant and stupid, because I don't understand how they can claim fascism for making the country a safer place. You're getting rid of gang members, criminals, rapists, murderers, what have you. And this is another honest question I'd like to know. Why are the Democratic politicians more concerned with the safety and well-being of illegal aliens, gang members, criminals? Why are they more concerned with the safety of these people over the safety of their American citizens? Van Hollen is a prime example of this, being that he had not one but two that we know of, two illegal alien criminals who murdered people within his state. And he's more concerned about flying to El Salvador to try and return an MS-13 gang member. Somebody explain that to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Why are they more concerned with illegal aliens and their safety over the safety of their American citizens, their constituents? My opinion, because they don't care about their constituents. Nobody knew who Van Hollen was until his grandstanding moment when he flew to El Salvador and had a meeting with Mr. Garcia, with old Kilmar. Nobody knew who that guy was. Maybe he's making a run for presidency. I don't know. It's grandstanding at its finest, but I digress. Somebody let me know why they have a higher priority for illegal aliens versus their own constituents. Because they don't care. That's my opinion. You let me know.
All
right, that's the scene in New Jersey.
It's ridiculous. This is stupid. Anyway, arrests were made. We'll take a look at this, because this is what needs to happen. Now, in my opinion, I've said it before, I think this happened way, way too late. Now, the arrests were made. There was a big scene when the arrests started happening. People started, fighting with the ICE officials, police officers, law enforcement, whoever this may be, who was actually making the arrests. I believe it was mostly ICE agents, but I could be wrong. There could have just been local law enforcement. Maybe they were waiting for backup, SWAT, local law enforcement. I don't know. I just think it should have happened sooner. As soon as these protesters showed up there, I would imagine that more than likely, because look, Democratic protests more often than not end up turning violent and into a riot anyway. So I would have just called local backup anyway. That's just me. I don't know how all of that works anyway. Just I'm ignorant as far as that goes, but you let me know what you think. This is the arrest. Take a look at this.
Yo, not away, not away, not away. Ice out of New Jersey. Sorry.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, arrest all of them. I don't care. They're resisting. There's people trying to pull detainees away from officials. Arrest them all. This blue-haired lady over here on the left, I've seen many videos with her. You can look. This is all over the World Wide Webs. You can find these videos all over the place right now. This blue-haired woman, one of the main agitators in this, they're actively trying to pull detainees away from officials, arrest them all, lock them all up. Accountability.
She didn't do anything!
What are you doing? Stay over here. Back up!
Get off the car! Johnny, get off the car! Get off the car!
Guys, excuse me.
Let me get his phone.
Get my phone.
Get my phone.
Yo, pay attention. Look. Yo, miss. He's not getting his phone. No. Back up.
Look, that woman grabbed his phone out of his pocket. I don't know. Look, make an example out of these people. Let people know that this crap is not going to be tolerated. That's it. Lock them all up, including the Congress people who assaulted officials. They all need to be charged. They all need to be locked up. Let people know that this stuff is not actions have consequences. Period. Done. Lock them all up.
Back up. I can't, hold on, excuse me. I can record, but we just need y'all to back up.
Right here, grab my Carlos got my phone. All right.
Well, like I said, accountability. It has to happen, because until you let people know that there's going to be consequences for these types of actions, people are going to keep doing it. And you think it's bad now, it's going to get worse. The summer's ramping up. People are going to start, a lot of people are talking about Summer of Love 2.0. It could very well happen. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if it did. Let people know that this stuff isn't going to be tolerated anymore, and actions have consequences. That's it. So we'll go ahead and we'll go back to the previous Fox News clip, and you guys can let me know, because this comes back to the accountability, and the Congress members who were there a few days prior, 2 days prior, whatever it was. Actions have consequences, particularly in the case of that LaMonica person, who is a state representative in New Jersey Congress. The actions have consequences. Arrest her. Give her a fine. I don't care, even if it's just give a perp walk. Look, the cuffs have to start coming out for these politicians, because until it does, they're just, like I said before, I know I'm a broken record as far as this goes, but until those cuffs come out, these Congress people, these people within, political power, they're going to keep pulling this crap. And then everyday citizens are going to follow their lead, because monkey see, monkey do. But anyway.
Detention center on Friday.
This is the LaMonica. This is the body cam footage that I showed you yesterday. She's actively pushing those ICE agents. That's assault.
Get your hands off for her.
Look, and I'm just saying, look, this is just a personal opinion, but if I was a representative for that county, that state, what have you, and I was on video doing this kind of crap, I would be embarrassed. I don't know how this is not embarrassing for this person. This stuff has to just stop. And until they hold them accountable for their actions, it's going to keep going.
Worth mentioning, those lawmakers have oversight capacity. DHS had said, hey, we would have let them in with proper channels, but instead you saw that play out. Those Democrats, though, they're insisting.
I said it yesterday. They do have oversight, what have you. They have that. They do not have the authority to just walk up in there willy-nilly. That's not a thing. They still have to go through the proper channels in order to enter that facility for a tour, check on inmates, what have you, whatever you want to do. You still have to go through proper channels. You can't just walk up to the ICE facility willy-nilly and say, look, I've got oversight. I can come in here. That's not how that works. Not at all. They can go through the proper channels, talking with the ICE facility and setting up a tour or a walkthrough, what have you. But you don't just get to walk up there whenever you feel like it and have access to go in there. It's not how it works. There's rules and regulations for safety, security, what have you.
They are the victims. They didn't do any pushing and shoving, they insist.
Look, this LaMonica person says she's never pushed nobody. She never did anything like that. It's on video. You can say that all you want, but everybody's seen that you were shoving that person. I think there was a couple of them. Now you can tell me that that's not assault, but that is assault. Just spitting on somebody is assault. So shoving somebody isn't assault. That's assault. That person they had their back to her, and she still was forcing her way through them to try and gain access into that facility. That's assault. That's, I would guess, like attempted illegal entry, what have you. But these protesters that were there yesterday should at the very least be trespassed, have trespassing charges put on them, impeding federal operations, I would imagine as well. That's just my opinion on it. But accountability, like I said, until that happens, this crap, it'll just keep going. But I don't think I actually moved that over, but that's all right. Y'all heard it. So that's my bad. I apologize. But the Post Millennial, let's see what they said about this. Let's take a look here. Post Millennial had a little article about it. We'll go through this. Breaking protesters block access to Newark ICE Detention Center, refuse to leave until arrested. Should have happened sooner. Again, but that's just my opinion. Monday saw protesters descend upon an ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey once again, coming after Democrats, lawmakers, and the city's mayor breached the facility on Friday. Multiple ambulances attempted to enter the facility. That's enough. Look, we don't know why the ambulances were there, but they couldn't get in there because these idiots were blocking the entry. Forcefully move them. That's my opinion. If there's an emergency vehicle that is trying to gain access into this facility, you physically remove these people. Detain them, arrest them, what have you. It should have happened a lot sooner, but they let them go. They let them do their thing. Anyway, but they were turned back. A Fox News reporter said that the facility was concerned that people would rush through the gates if the ambulances were allowed to come through. Let's take a look at this little video just from the ambulances trying to get in.
Now, an
Or it's a Fox News
ambulance
clip.
there apparently turned away at the ICE detention center in Newark, where these protests were happening on Friday, where the mayor got arrested. Let's bring in correspondent Alexis McAdams. She's live on the ground there. Alexis, walk us through what just went down.
Hey, Jillian. So we've seen at least two ambulances try to pull into this ICE detention facility here in Newark, New Jersey. One was right here through these gates, and they turned that ambulance away. Why? Because if they open up these gates all the way, like they did on Friday, then they're afraid people are going to kind of rush through. So right now you're looking at a group of people who have been out here for a few hours that are kind of blocking the gates.
And why would they feel empowered to force their way through if those gates got open? Because that's what the politicians did. They did it, so why can't everyday citizens? Why not us? They did it. Accountability. Again, like I'm just saying. Let's see. Around 50 clergy members from Faith in New Jersey and Faith in Action gathered outside the facility on Monday, linking arms outside the Delaney Hall Detention Center's front gates, chanting and singing songs. They said they would continue to block access to the facility until they were arrested. So they went there planning to be arrested. That was their whole goal. Oh, goodness gracious. The clergy member said that they would attempt to enter the facility and that they volunteered to be arrested. A protester told Fox News that they did not call the ambulance and it was instead a tactic to get them to move. I don't know about that. Maybe it was, perhaps. We can speculate to that, but nobody knows for sure. There was no danger there, he said. You don't know that either. They do not know if there was any kind of danger or somebody who actually needed that ambulance. They don't know that. That's a bold-faced claim. I mean, that's a pretty bold claim that there was no emergency. You don't know what's happening inside that facility. You have no idea if they actually needed that ambulance or not. Anyway, I would guess probably not, just because they didn't force their way in there. Maybe I would imagine they've got their own medics in there, but I don't know. I'm just speculating, just like this guy is. Anyway, we're not going to be moved. We will be here as long as it takes until people start to realize this is not acceptable. These people are actively advocating for criminals, rapists, murderers, what have you, to stay within the United States. This is insane to me. Does anybody actually think that these people should stay in the United States? Yeah, apparently that's what they're advocating for. This is insane to me. And you can tell me all you want about, well, they're just illegal aliens. A lot of them aren't actual further criminals once they come. I don't care. I don't care. At this point, I've seen too many of these people who are rapists, gang members, murderers, I've seen too many of them. If you're in this country illegally, you're not, there's no paperwork on you. There's no record of you being here. What's gonna prevent them from committing further crimes? Somebody let me know the argument, because I don't think it holds any water. I don't care. Anyway, on Friday, Democrat Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, LaMonica McIver, and Rob Menendez rushed past security at the detention facility. Newark Mayor Ross Baraka was arrested after refusing to leave the facility. Baraka had been posting outside the facility days earlier. Baraka has claimed that the Delaney Hall facility does not have the proper permits to run and has demanded that comprehensive fire, safety, and health inspections. He said he would return to protest at the facility daily after 3 fire code violations were issued. I don't think that. Look, the ICE facility, yes, it's a privately owned building as far as I understand it. ICE has taken over as far as like just a temporary usage for holding illegal aliens until they get deported. I don't see the problem. I don't care. Anyway, we'll go ahead and move on to old Big Pharma. Now, President Trump has got the pharma prices to come down a bit. This is a good thing. This is something that the Democrats have been running on for decades, saying that pharmaceutical prices are too high for Americans and they're a lot cheaper for other countries. Let me just fill you in just a little bit on how this actually works. A lot of these companies do all their research and what have you within the United States. They pass on that money that they have to spend in research and whatever. They pass it on to the Americans. As far as Canada, the UK, they don't charge them for the research. We get charged, the taxpayers. We get charged for that. Other countries don't. We subsidize these other countries, and they get cheap meds out of it. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to subsidize other countries while we face, we have to pay the majority of these researchers for the pharmaceuticals that are out there. If you're buying a car, this is just an example. If you're buying a car and you're spending, let's just as an example, $100,000 on this said vehicle, but that same vehicle that gets, exported out to, let's just say the UK, and they're paying $15,000 for that vehicle. This is the same thing that's happening with the pharmaceutical companies. We're paying more because we have to pay for the research here in the United States. It's not fair. Everybody should have to pay that fair share. And then if everybody paid their fair share for the research, then the pharmaceuticals wouldn't be as expensive for American citizens. That's just how it should be. but it's not. President Trump is actually trying to change that. Let's take a look at his speech when he says here, and you guys can let me know what you think. I think this is a good thing. It's fantastic. But anyway.
The United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries and will no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging. For the first time in many years, we'll slash the cost of prescription drugs, and we will bring fairness to America. Drug prices will come down. We're going to cut out the middlemen and facilitate the direct sale of drugs at the most favored nation price directly to the American citizen.
I'm just so grateful to be here today. I never thought that this would happen in my lifetime.
This is the most powerful executive order on pharmacy pricing and healthcare ever in the history of our nation. By getting our allies to pay a bit more, we'll course correct a problem that's gotten out of hand.
We're standing up for the American consumer who's been paying far too high prices for far too long.
We didn't take an oath to heal patients and then watch their life get ruined financially. We're going to do everything we can at the FDA to support this executive order. It's transformative. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, I will say, it's an executive order. We've seen a lot of executive orders come through the presidency. President Trump has signed quite a bit of them. I will not deny that fact. There's been a lot. Too many to actually keep up with. I think that's intentional just because of we know how the Democrats operate. But this is something that I agree with. This is something that should go through Congress to be signed into law. This is an executive order. It can be overturned by the next president. This is something, look, we have the majority within the Senate and the House. It's slim, but we have the majority. This kind of stuff has to get pushed through Congress and be codified into law so that it can't be overturned and changed by the next person that comes in. We have the majority. Do this stuff now, before midterms come around. Rack up some wins. Do it now, because I'm telling you, the Republicans within Congress, the majority of them are cowards. They shouldn't be in office. That's just my opinion. Because what do? Somebody please tell me what a sitting congressperson within the Republican Party has done recently to help codify something into law. Somebody let me know. There's the big bill that's supposedly going to start going through. It should have happened earlier. As soon as we took the majority, things should have started happening. Now, President Trump's doing everything he can, but stuff still has to get put through Congress. Nobody's doing anything. Why? Because the Republicans within Congress, most of them are cowards, and they don't do anything. They get elected, they promise everything, and then they just sit there and they let Democrats run all over them. Most of them don't do anything. Look at Speaker of the House is a prime example. When Al Green was getting censured, people walked onto the floor, started singing, and Mike Johnson he pounded his gavel and said, "Okay, we're in recess." Have these people arrested. Call the sergeant at arms and have these people forcefully taken out of the hall. He didn't do it though. Why? Because the majority of Republicans in Congress are cowards. And I think, look, during Trump's State of the Union, not State of the Union, when Mike Johnson actually had Al Green removed by the sergeant at arms, I think the only reason he did that is because President Trump was right there. And Vice President J.D. Vance was right next to him. That's it. Because once Al Green was being censured, which actually doesn't even do anything, the Democrats go into the well, they start chanting and singing, and Mike Johnson just says, "Okay, we're in recess." Doesn't do anything. Why? Because he's a coward. I don't like the guy. I wasn't sure about him being the speaker in the first place. That just codifies my disbelief in him, and I don't like him. Anyway, so Democrats have been talking about bringing down pharma prices for a very, very long time. A couple decades at least, as far as back as I can remember. One of those big champions for reducing pharma prices. Who is it? It's Bernie Sanders. The guy who's gotten millions of dollars from these pharmaceutical companies. But everybody saw the clip. No. It wasn't the heads. It was individual donors. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. The guy's made millions off of donations from Big Pharma. Him and Warren, both of them alike. Even though they talk a big game saying that America needs to have lower pharmaceutical prices. Just as an example, this is back in 2016, not that far back. like I said, Democrats have been talking this game for decades. They'll talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, and nothing ever happens, but they'll talk about it all the time. It's the same thing with the rich paying their fair share. But the rich already pay 40% of the taxes in this country. 40%. It's a big chunk. The 1% of people within the United States pay 40% of taxes in the United States. And it'll never happen. They will never raise taxes. Now, they say Trump and his rich friends, but tell me why the majority of people, this is a question I ask all the time. Tell me why a majority of the 1% of people in this country back Democrats. Even though they talk big about the rich paying their fair share, the majority of the rich, they back Democrats. Why? Because they know they're never going to do it. And they're the ones who actually give cuts to their billionaire friends. But Bernie won't admit to that. But anyway, take a look at what Bernie says back just 2016 about Big Pharma.
We pay in this country the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Maybe, just maybe, it might be time for the United States Senate to stand up to the pharmaceutical industry and all of their lobbyists here and all of their campaign contributions and say we're going to stand with the American people who are sick and tired of being ripped off by the drug companies. There are many reasons why we pay such outrageous prices, but one reason is we continue passing laws written by the pharmaceutical industry and their lobbyists year after year after year.
Now, like I said, this guy's been talking this game for years. But he is one of the biggest recipients of Big Pharma money. He's not going to do anything about it. He won't. He'll talk a big game. And look, how long has this guy been on office? A very long time. The guy's a dinosaur at this point. He's been in politics forever. He could have done something about it. He could have wrote up a bill. I can't recall anything. Somebody let me know if you know of a bill that he's wrote up in order to lower pharmaceutical prices for the American people, because I can't remember one. Somebody let me know.
I believe that the American people should know that the pharmaceutical industry has spent more than $3 billion on lobbying since 1998.
You're one of the biggest recipients of Big Pharma money. The guy's got 3 houses, and not cheap ones either. Luxury big houses. The hypocritical, and look, everybody's a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Everybody's hypocritical. We're only human. But the hypocrisy coming from the left is just beyond anything I've ever seen in my life. It's insane. This is grandstanding at its finest.
How's that? Democracy at work. Drug companies charge us the highest prices in the world, and the pharmaceutical industry spends $3 billion on lobbying. They're all over these places. Well-priced lobbyists trying to get us to pass pharma legislation. We have got to have the courage to start taking on the pharmaceutical industry and representing the American people. So I look forward to working with my friends on the other side to come up with a good solution to protect the American people at the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs in this country.
Okay, so that was back in 2016. What changed for Bernie? Perhaps, and maybe it's just my opinion, maybe others think the same, but I think that Bernie tends to be one of them people. He talked a big game, never really did anything. Somewhere in between 16 and now, where he got all that money from the pharma companies, maybe they changed his tune because he started getting paid out for it. Perhaps. Maybe it's just my opinion. But anyway, I wanted to show everybody the clip of RFK Jr., him saying that, this is just a fantastic thing, and it is. This is good for the American people. It's going to lower the price of drugs for people who need them. Anyway, take a look at this clip, and we'll see.
But he can't be bought.
Now this one's a little low. So I apologize. It's hard to get some of these clips that are I don't know why, but some of the volumes on some of these, they just don't. This one's really quiet, so I apologize for that.
Unlike most of the politicians in this country, and he is standing here for the American people. I don't know what, there's writers like Lord Elizabeth Warren or Robert Reich who are saying that President Trump is on this side of the oligarchs. There has never been a president more willing to stand up to the oligarchs than President Donald Trump.
He's not wrong. President Trump is the only one that I can recall that is actually standing up to oligarchs. And maybe Bernie Sanders with his standing up to oligarchy tour, maybe he should just, have a sit down with President Trump and learn from him. That's just my opinion, but yeah.
And I'm very, very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage, I'll say, because I don't want to be crude, your intestinal fortitude, your stiff spine, and your willingness to stand up for the American people. We have 4.2% of the world's population. Our country represents 75% of the revenues for pharmaceutical companies. We spend in our country $11, but he can't be.
All right. There you go. Like I said, it's a good thing for the American people. I'm happy to see that the pharmaceutical companies, maybe they'll. The price is coming down is a good thing. Like I said, for everybody, for individuals, what have you. Anyway. But that's all I've got for this morning. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. If you like what you saw and you made it this far, I do appreciate it. Hit that follow button. I'm here live every morning, 7:30 Eastern, right ahead of the Rumble lineup. You can just watch me, and I appreciate you spending your mornings with me if you're here. But you can just watch me and then roll right into the Rumble lineup. So, again, appreciate you being here. Give me a follow. You can also follow me on X at @ThePoliticalRay. And again, I appreciate everybody being here. I hope everybody has a fantastic Tuesday. God bless and take care of each other.